your worries. You roll them all up into a ball, you turn those son bitches sideways and stick them straight up, then candy out.
Pick your goal and stick fucking to it. You wishy-washy motherfuckers. I can't fucking stand you.
I wanted to make sure that out of the 24 hours of the day, that I don't waste one single hour. Those hours were too precious. And so there I just want to tell people, don't give me this thing, I have a difficult time with the time and I don't have time for this and I don't have that. You have time. You make the time.
And now, welcome to the Be Informed, Live Fit podcast, sponsored by FitnessInformant.com.
And he kill it while you sitting down, bitch, about how I triple my fan base, net worth bench. Can't say there's worse, bitch. Do something, fuck it, I prove something. Don't switch up, should've made your best first bitch.
I am your host, Fitness Informant, founder, and CEO, Ryan Buckeye. This week is going to be a really cool episode. We sat down with Angie Marie Okon here in Minneapolis, Minnesota from Okon Fitness. It is a nationwide fitness plan program now ran by Angie and her brother, and we talk about it in the podcast today. Listen, if those of you who have been listening to this podcast since day one, here is a stat that I'm not proud of and that I've been trying to change, is we've only had one female guest on the show to date, and that is Ashley Horner. And I've been going out there and I've been swinging and trying to hit a home run ball to get some more females on this podcast because I believe they have just an equal part say within the world of fitness, and they have a very interesting take on how they train compared to us males. For those males listening to this podcast, I think, and I hope you'd agree, the females, after even listening and talking with Matt Jansen, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, how they don't get the recognition that they deserve at events like the Olympia, where they're not allowed to walk on the main stage. They do their competition at the Expo in Vegas. We need to give women some more recognition within this industry, within the fitness world, because they're an integral part of what we do. And they are 50% of the consumer base in fitness, if not more. With dietary supplements, for instance, I mean, there are a lot of women buying sports nutritional products as well that sometimes just are left ignored. And people are formulating these products specifically for men or hardcore athletes that don't necessarily fit the bill of a woman. That needs to change. And I, myself, have an open door policy. I want more women to be on this show, give us an opportunity to shed some light on them, shed some light on their credentials, on their accomplishments. And Angie Marie Okon, who is a feisty female, and she has, you'll see in the podcast, she has a very distinct personality, but she talks about why she's the way she is today, about all the things that she's gone through in her life, and she's not had an easy life. And that's really why I want Angie on this podcast, is because she has helped touch and change and inspire women from around the world, not just in Minneapolis, not just in America, but literally around the world. And that needs to be showcased to the world to see. I think that's super important for you guys and girls listening to this podcast to get an opportunity to get a slim peek into the life of Angie and kind of like what brought her to today and what brought her into the world of coaching and training and being a competitive bodybuilder and training other ladies to be competitive bodybuilders as well. Because she does not have an exercise science background in college. A lot of us don't. We fall in love with the passion of fitness and sports nutrition and some other route. And there are a few of us that go through the exercise and sports science route in college, and that's great. But it just says that you can go other routes and you can still achieve greatness and achieve the best version of yourself by just putting in hard work, the time, the consistency. And Angie's testament to that. So that podcast, that interview is what you guys are tuning in for today. I'm super excited to get you guys over to that. One thing I do want to note, we did this interview in person here in Minneapolis. She lives in Minneapolis, which is great. The first half of the podcast, we recorded on my Canon camera. Everything was great. The mic system worked great. And then the batteries died like a bitch. So thankfully, I had my GoPro with me. So the second half, if you're watching on YouTube, it might look a little bit different, but the thing I want to tell you about is the sound is going to be a little bit different from the first half and the second half. So I'm going to do my absolute best to make it sound perfect. But just FYI, if things sound a little bit different on the second half of the interview with Angie, it's because it was recorded on a GoPro, and my mic system, for whatever reason, the camera decided to shit out on me in terms of the batteries. This week's Pumped Up segment of the week is being brought to you by Built Fast Formula's award-winning Vaso Blitz Pumping Nutter. Not only is Vaso Blitz the winner of our 2018 Shield of Excellence Supplement Award for Best Pump Product, it is also the first nitrate formula fully disclosed with 30 servings, not scoops. When VasoBlitz is consumed daily, even on your off days, it will last you a full month. All this and more for only $34.99. And as a special listening offer for you guys right now, use promo code INFORMANT and save 15%. What am I pumped up about this week? Well, we just published a new ranking guide over at fitnessinformant.com that I'm super stoked about because it's one of probably the most searched topics on the internet. And we finally have developed a ranking guide based on real tests, real results, you know, the full life duration of these containers. It is the strongest pre-workout supplements on the market today. This is what I'm pumped up about, okay? I'm pumped up about this because we look at the pre-workout market and we look at it in a different light. Like, the strongest pre-workout on the market today is an irresponsible product, like the legit strongest. That is the one that has 600 milligrams of caffeine. I think it's got something like 300 milligrams of DMHA, 150 milligrams of hormonine or some shit like that. It's just irresponsible, okay? So we're not going to put that into this list. Our list is the strongest, safest pre-workouts on the market today, meaning that it's not just a stim bomb. It's not just filled with a bunch of stimulants that are going to get you that high and you're going to crash and lay on your couch later and feel like absolute dog shit. These are the best products that you can buy with stimulants that are done in a way in which it can still be an effective product. So we have 1 through 5 listed over at fitnessinformant.com. That's something that I'm super stoked about, super excited about for you guys to go look at. And more of these ranking guides are coming out. We have best fat burners, and these, again, are different than a lot of the guides that you see online because most of the guides that you see online somewhere are based off commission. So somebody is paying the person of that website, or the person that owns that website actually owns a brand. But what they're doing is they're paying 30, 40, 50% commissions on every product that sells through that ranking site on the ranking list. That's not the way FI works. We don't make varying commissions based on products. Like, our commission rate, you guys have listened to this before through affiliates. Like, if somebody purchases something through FI, we get straight line commission across the board. So there's no reason for us to ever say we should put X product over Y because we're going to make more money. It doesn't work that way for us. And I never would allow that to happen because that's bullshit. And that would take away from everything that I built in this brand. So ranking guides are based on real testing results from real personal testing. The current number 1 rated strongest pre-workout on the market, I actually ran that myself, and I love it. I think it's really good. I think it's strong. I think it's effective. I think it does exactly what it's supposed to do. And you never have a letdown gym session with this. So to me, that was number 1. Again, these are revolving rankings, so that means they can change throughout the year. If something comes out next week that we try that we say, damn, this is really good, we'll place that at number 1 and move everything else down. So these are not like final rankings for all time. These are rankings as they sit as of today. Our Genius Moment of the Week is being brought to you by the Genius brand. The Genius brand offers high-quality supplements with scientifically proven, clinically dosed, all-natural ingredients. With a blatant disregard for profit margins, the Genius brand focuses on creating innovative, industry-leading wellness supplements to help you live an active, healthy, and long-lasting life. Supplement smarter today. Check out our full reviews and brand news on the Genius brand over at fitnessinformant.com. My Genius Moment of the Week is more or less gym etiquette. Okay, so I run into this all the time. And I post about this on my IG story. It pisses me off. And it should piss you off too. 2 things in the gym that piss me off. 3. We'll do 3 things that piss me off in the gym. This is the Genius Moment of the Week. The Genius Moment of the Week are 3 things that piss me off in the gym. Number 1, when you go to the bathroom and you walk out of that bathroom without washing your hands. That is what pisses me off first and foremost. Like, I see it happen all the time. You're going to go take a piss, touch yourself, probably piss on yourself, and then you're going to walk out and not wash your hands. Or you're going to go take a shit and you're going to walk out and not wash. What are you doing? You're going to go out and touch the equipment that I'm going to touch? Dude, do us all a favor and wash your fucking hands. Female, same thing. Like, you're no better, right? Like, I mean, I'm not in the female bathroom, but if this happens on the female side of things, wash your fucking hands, all right? You guys are touching this equipment that everybody out there is touching. Be respectful. That's one thing I can't fucking stand, is being disrespectful to the gym. The gym is a sanctuary. It's a place of worship. Worship those gains, right? So treat it with respect. Number 2, not cleaning up your equipment when you're done. And what I mean by that is, I went up to a flat bench just the other day, and you can see the outline of the person that was on it prior to this. Sweat outline. Nobody to be seen. Not one fucking person to be seen. What are you doing? Clean that shit up. Nobody wants to lay in your fucking sweat lake on this flat bench. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to put their face down where your crotch was and it's all gross on this bench. Like, clean your shit up. That's why every gym should have bottles, disinfectant bottles, or disinfectant wipes somewhere. If it doesn't, find yourself a new fucking gym. Unless it's like Metroflex Dallas and it's like super hardcore, and I've never been there. But I've even been to, like Quads in Chicago, fantastic old school gym. They have the stuff there. They should. It's fucking gross to lay in sweat from somebody else or to put your face in something that you have no idea what was used there next. So, number 1, wash your hands. Number 2, clean up your shit. Number 3, you guys probably know what number 3 is because I bitch about this a lot. But re-rack your weights, people. Jesus Christ. I mean, there's no reason that I should walk into the gym at 4:30 in the fucking morning and I see weights on the squat rack and nobody around. 245s on each side. And some people out there listening is like, why does that bother you, Ryan? Well, 1, I have to use my time because I'm not warming up with fucking 225. I'm not doing it. Number 2, it's not good for the bars. Those bars are expensive. They're like $500 for some of those bars. Sometimes they're north of that, more. You can literally pay over $1,000 for a fucking bar. Having weights just sit on that and the force of gravity just keep pulling down is going to eventually put a bend into that bar. And again, I don't want to clean up after somebody else. Be respectful. You're a fucking grown-up. You're an adult. Pick up your stuff and put it away. It's not that hard. If you have time to take it out, put it on there, grunt, squat, do your shit, and you don't have time to put it away, don't give me that shit. Yes, you do. I would love to backhand every single one of you out there who don't re-rack your weights. Or you leave your dumbbells lying all around the floor. You deserve to be punched right in the mouth for that. You really do. Anybody who doesn't wash their hands, doesn't clean up their equipment, and doesn't re-rack their weights, you deserve to be punched right in the mouth. That is a 100% fact of nature from right here at Fitness Informant. Guys, you guys know now we're with Midwest Meals here at FI. We're super stoked about that. We're going to be coming out with an ebook of healthy recipes that you all can make at home. People struggle with their diet. That's the one thing they struggle with more so than often. So we're going to have more recipes over at FI. We just posted a new recipe on protein-packed protein bites using NutriBio's pancake and maple syrups. Check that out over at fitnessinformant.com. But I do want to give you a little diet hack advice here, sponsored by Midwest Meals. You guys can go to midwestmeals.com, use promo code Informant, and save 10% off your initial order. This makes meal prep fucking easy. You get your macros. You can pick out a selection. I believe it was like 18 different signature meals. You have custom meals. It's fantastic. But here is the hack this week before we get over to Angie. The hack is replace your sour cream with plain Greek yogurt. It's simple. I posted this on Instagram as well, but a lot of people don't think about it. We use sour cream on a lot of things in this world. And why? Because it's delicious. It's great on tacos. It's great on Chipotle bowls. It's great. Some people have them on potatoes, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, whatever it might be. That's great. Greek yogurt does the same, tastes the same exact thing, and it's better. There's more probiotics in it. It's better for you. So go ahead and try it. If you are somebody who uses a bunch of sour cream on something, go ahead, swap that out with Greek yogurt. That is your diet hack of the week being brought to you by MidwestMeals.com. Okay, again, part 1 and part 2 of this interview are going to sound just a little bit different because Angie and I had done this in person. The first time, part 1 was done with the mic system and the Canon camera, the nice system. And then thank goodness I had my GoPro with me to capture the second half of the interview with Angie. So if you don't follow Angie on Instagram, make sure you do. We will make sure we post that Instagram handle on fitnessinformant.com. She's inspirational. She's motivational. She's kicking down doors and she is kicking ass. She is a badass bitch. And I don't like saying that, but I only say that because she says it's acceptable. She is younger than I am. She's accomplishing quite a bit so far in her fitness life, her fitness career, and I hope nothing but great things for her. And people that I've spoken to that have trained under her have nothing but fantastic things to say about her as well. So I'm going to shut my mouth, toss this over to my interview with Angie and I, and I appreciate you all tuning in to this podcast. If this is your first time listening, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and keep up to date with us here. Give us a rating and a review as well. How about that algorithm? And make sure you're following us on all of our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and of course, right here on YouTube, or if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, however you might be getting this podcast. Enjoy the show with me and Angie Marie.
The BAR, Breakfast at the Ready, is finally here. The world's first protein bar made with real cereal pieces from some of your favorite cereals and the best cereals of all time. This bar has 20 grams of protein, only 20 grams of carbohydrates, with 5 of them coming from sugar, and 4 grams of fat, 190 delicious calories that you can fit in at any time. Any person can take this bar, man, woman, child. Whether you're working out, you're training to build muscle, or you just need a healthy snack throughout the day, the BAR is your solution. Go to redcon1.com and order the BAR Breakfast at the Ready right now.
With the amount of hard work that I put in, I need a reputable brand.
I absolutely love this stuff.
The energy is amazing. The pumps are ridiculous. The flavor is absolutely delicious.
I was blown away by the amount of energy, the muscle pump.
It keeps me going throughout the day.
Take your workouts to the next level.
The energy was so crazy for me.
Really gives me the boost I'm needing in the morning.
You will train harder, you will see better pumps, you will go longer in the gym.
The quality of the ingredients makes a difference.
Try Rise, you're gonna love it, I guarantee it.
Their products are top of the range, and I'm very proud to be a part of Team Rice.
For the last 2 decades, we have been the best kept secret of the supplement industry. We've kept our heads down and worked. We pioneered full label transparency and full therapeutic doses because we believe that truly hard work requires truly effective tools. 2 decades is a long time to commit to one pursuit, but when you act with purpose and become centered in yourself, eventually you realize that you were born and bred for this. The things you once thought impossible, you now do every day. We don't like the easy way, it just doesn't feel right. We'll take the long, hard road over a shortcut any day. It takes longer, sure, but in the end, you know you earned it. And with the right team behind you, pushing yourself further than you've ever been will be just another afternoon doing what you love most.
I've spent most of my life chasing what's termed as unattainable. An obstacle in my path, I torment it. Any limitation trying to control my environment, I tame it. Any excuses, I transform into commitments. The haters, they're too small for me to even see. For 28 months before Cage Muscle even released, I broke myself against the world to identify, track, test, and trial the ultimate resources available in human existence to bring you something the world has never seen. Change is upon us. Don't justify your complacency. Evolve with me. Part animal, part machine. I'm Chris Gethin, and I am Cage Muscle.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back inside the Be Informed Live Fit podcast on site in Uptown Minneapolis, which I'd never fucking come here, by the way. Like, this is your neighborhood, basically.
This is where I'm at, yeah.
It's your stomping grounds. But it's an awesome area. This is like the best time of year in Minneapolis, too. Because coming here, there's this lake called Lake Calhoun.
Yep.
And people are doing this thing called cardio, where it's like you move your feet really fast.
Yep.
But anyway, this is Angie Marie. Pronounce the last name, because I don't want to butcher it.
So my last name is spelled Okon.
Okay.
But it's easier for people to say Okon. So
I've already said Okon too. So
yeah, Okon is fine.
Okon is how it's supposed to be.
Okon is the way in like Nigeria they say Okon.
All right.
Okon is totally cool. I'm good with that.
And you're kind of a badass.
I mean, I think a little bit, maybe.
If you guys follow her on social media, Instagram specifically, she's an open book. She doesn't hold back, and I don't expect you to hold back on the podcast.
And I won't.
And we're in a public forum right now, so people walking by will be like, "What the fuck did she say?"
Yeah.
And they're gonna stop. But it should be good. But you are an inspiration to many females, many males within the space. You're what we'd call, like, you're obviously a trainer, an influencer to some standpoint too, with Instagram being the way it is. But before that, you have a whole other life that I want to talk about today, and like how we got to the point in which you are now. So I want to first bring up something you talked about today on your Instagram story. Before fitness, you wanted to actually be a fighter until you got popped in the fucking eye.
Right. So actually, I still train Muay Thai sometimes, where I will hold, someone will hold for me and I'll hit mitts. I wanted to be like Ronda Rousey, badass bitch. I loved it. I trained for like 3 years, and then my sparring partner, she punched me in the eye, and so I was like, cool, for sure. So what should I do now?
Wait, was that the first time you actually got like hit?
I've been hit, but like it was the first time I wasn't like I wasn't ready for it. So my eye was open. I had my falsy lashes on, of course. And she punched me in my eye, and I was like, all right, cool, for sure, not my thing.
Did you suffer an injury, or was it you just kind of like whatever?
I was just like, I don't think I can handle getting hit in the face. But I mean, I should have given it more time and like tried a little bit more. But I also was like, I want to test the waters with bodybuilding. So. Did
you bodybuild while fighting or while training Muay Thai?
Yeah, actually. At first, it was both. I was doing Muay Thai, MMA style training with bodybuilding, and my then boyfriend was like my motivator. Like he pushed me, he helped me kind of learn how to do everything. But yeah, I was kind of doing both, and then once I started competing, I was like, this is where I should be.
Because you're still, like, you're younger than me, but I'm also getting kind of old.
I mean, we're kind of the same age.
No, you're super young. Anyway, so how long ago was it when you first got into Muay Thai? Like, how many years from today?
So I was like, if I'm being real, I was a lazy piece of shit before I even started doing any active stuff. I partied, I got drunk all the time, all that fun stuff. So I was like 24. Or something like that, where I was like, all right, I need to like change my life because I'm sick of being, basically I hated looking in the mirror and I hated being the bitch that I was. So yeah, I started when I was 23.
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
So why Muay Thai?
I looked up shit online. I was like, what can I do? Because I've always been like, I'm an athlete. I know I'm an athlete. I'm athletic. I love doing shit. I'm very, 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 very competitive. So I was like, this is kind of my sport, or it looked like my sport. So I knew a few people who went there, and I just showed up. Like, I made some of my friends go with me. Didn't know anyone. Didn't really know what the fuck I was doing.
And you were doing it today, I think, too. Weren't you doing it like earlier?
Yeah, this morning we did hit mitts.
Which is cool. I mean, it's a form of cardio. I think that'd be a lot more fun. I think you mentioned it too, like Stairmasters, ellipticals.
Boring.
That shit is boring. Unless you're watching some cool Netflix show or something. Even then, it's still boring.
It's good training too. Like if you ever have to fuck somebody up,
you have the skill set.
You got the skills. I may have used them a few times in my life.
And we're gonna get to that because I mean, I'm interested in that. High school, did you play sports or anything? Is that how you became super competitive?
You know, I really wanted to play sports. I was an athlete. When I was in junior high, I used to run. I was a basketball player. I loved all of that. But I wasn't able to because my ass had to work.
I'm in the same boat.
I had to support myself. I had to put my own food on the table and all my clothes on my back. I had to work my ass off, so I wasn't able to do after school activities. I had to work.
Where are you from originally?
So originally I'm actually from this area, Richfield. But I grew up in a really small town called Arlington, Minnesota. Most people are like, no idea where that is, but it was like 2,000 people.
Sure. So small town USA. Really how far from the cities?
45-ish minutes.
North?
South.
Okay. So like coming to the big city was a big deal?
Coming back up here?
Or just like coming here like when you're younger?
Oh yeah, when I went to get my hair braided or smoke a blunt with my brother, because you know that's what the cool kids did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So then where'd you get the competitive spirit?
I'm probably growing up with boys, maybe. I mean, I think it's kind of something that's in me. Like my whole life I've been competitive with my sister, wanting to be better at everything, but also having my brothers who played sports. And just boys. Boys are just more rough and tough, and so I think
we try to be.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I might be tougher than my brothers now for sure. They might not agree with that, but yeah, I think being like around my brothers and having those siblings, it was kind of like competitive.
Sure. So you mentioned earlier, like your kind of turning point into getting into fitness was you couldn't stand looking at yourself in the mirror.
Right.
I mean, was there anything else that contributed to the fact of getting into fitness, or was it? Or
yeah, I was the most depressed. Like I was a sad bitch. Like I hated my life. I mean, drinking alcohol doesn't help. No. Like it's a depressant. I was just in a place where I was like, what am I even fucking doing with my life? Like, I think everyone goes through that moment where they're like lost or like I have no idea where my direction is. And so I was just like, all right, what can I do to change my life? I'm sick of complaining. I'm sick of being sad. And so my first step was to figuring out how I could just take care of my body.
Yeah, and you found Muay Thai, and then you found the gym.
Well, actually, at first I Googled everything.
Sure.
And then I would bike to the gym, my university, and just go there. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just did shit.
So yeah, how'd you figure out like how to do? I mean, you were looking up old bodybuilding.com articles, or like?
No, this was before like social media wasn't a thing. I didn't even know what bodybuilding.com was. I went on Google, like Googled workouts, Googled diets, and I just was like, what's healthy, what's not healthy on Google. And I mean, now looking back at what I did and ate, it's funny because it wasn't great. But I mean, I had to start somewhere, and there wasn't a lot of things out there like there are now to help get people started.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like your platform as well,
That's what I have now.
When did you launch OkonFitness.com?
So Okon started in what year is it? I'm old.
Yeah.
Okay, so we started in 2016 was the year that we really took the leap, but we started, building it out in 2015. 2016 in April actually was when we were like, it's time, let's just do it. We got to just Because it's scary. It's like really scary to quit your career, quit your life, and just have faith that this is gonna work.
Right.
And my brother, who's my partner, was like, we can do it. Let's do it, Angie. You gotta do it. So finally I was like, all right, fuck it, let's just do it.
What were you doing before it?
I was a marketing director for a Ford dealership.
Where you were? Okay. Did you, and you didn't like it?
I mean, who really gives a shit about cars that much?
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, there are people who care, but I did not care about selling cars. I loved my job, though. The owner was like, honestly, I got the job because I was graduating school, and the owner loved me, and I was a server. I had like 4 jobs.
Okay.
And he was like, do you want to get a job after college? I was like, you bet I do. So that's how I got started in that.
What'd you do in college?
For school?
Yeah.
I went for communication and marketing.
So no fitness background.
No,
in college
nothing.
thing, which is
all.
totally normal, by the
Nope,
way.
yeah.
You get several of the nerds like Adam Bisick, and I'll call him out because he's my buddy.
Oh yeah,
but,
Adam
like,
is so intelligent.
super
Absolutely.
smart, and we've had him on here before, and like listening to him talk
makes you feel stupid.
Sometimes, yeah, it definitely does. And when he gives you a nod of approval, you feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah.
But there are 2 paths to this industry to be successful in it, and really it's like you can go to school full time and get that certification that way, and then go on and do 20 different certification programs like he did,
right?
Or you can hustle. And it sounds
and you
like
can get education as you go.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's one thing I really wish I would have done, because I kind of went to school because I was like, I have to go to school. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Here's what I'm going to do. But now that I've had the time to figure out who the fuck I really am, now I'm going back and getting like certifications and degrees and further educating myself, because I do believe in being educated. If you're going to tell someone how to do things, you should know.
Right.
I do think experience is really important too. Like having that experience with people is huge. But yeah, going and getting those certifications later on in life is totally doable.
Where in your life did you make the decision to step on stage?
So after I got punched in the face, I did a 5K. That was my other thing I did. I ran, believe it or not. I was like, oh, this is healthy. I didn't know, I thought that's what was gonna make me ripped and whatever. So I did a 5K, I posted a picture, I actually talked about this recently, and I had a solid 6-pack, and I was still eating things like ice cream, but that was because I did Muay Thai. But some girl was like, girl, you should really do a competition, and I was like, competition, what's that? And so in my mind, you think bikini competition 2012-ish, you think like, like pageanty. So I looked it up, and then 2012, I did the first Minnesota show. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, this is actually pretty fun.
Which one did you do?
I did Minnesota State.
Okay. And how'd you do?
I got 3rd place, and I was really mad. And now looking back, I'm like, oh, actually, that's pretty good.
It's not terrible for your first time.
And then but that motivated me. I was like, fuck that. I deserve overall, competitive. And I went and did another show like 3 months later, North Star, and I won the overall. And
North Star's in AIM Center in Burnsville, right?
It was, yep.
So how many shows have you done?
I think 14. I'd have to really go back and think, and I don't want to sit here forever and do the math, but I'm pretty sure 14 or 15.
Where are all your medals and trophies?
Where are they?
Yeah.
In my storage unit.
Okay. But most people do that. Like they have one trophy out. Like I talked with Ronnie Coleman on the show, and he has like them all across his house, but like some of them are like put away.
Oh, I'm gonna have a trophy room at some point when I move into a place where I have the space. But right now, it's in my storage unit.
You mentioned on the podcast, or not the podcast, on your IG story that I resonate. So one of the big things in my life that scared the shit out of me, when I was younger, I was 14, I walked in my house, I saw my brother had a kitchen rag over the top of a Glade aerosol can, and he was huffing it.
Okay.
So I saw him doing, and I would pack bowls for him all the time, and I'd see him do coke and all these things, and I scared the shit out of me.
Right.
But you mentioned, your drug use, which I think is super relevant because people go through stretches in their life of things that they can look back on, they learn from it, or whatever it might be. How did you get involved in that? And then, how were you able to pull yourself away from that?
So I grew up, we'll go back to Arlington.
Yeah.
There's not shit to do in Arlington.
Sure.
So most kids that grow up in a small town, what do? They do drugs. Let's just be real. A lot of them do drugs, or they try them. Yeah. So I was 14 and I was doing meth.
Not young. Wow.
Yeah, I was doing meth. I smoked a lot of weed. I did literally everything except for heroin. So I did all that stuff. I thought I was the coolest little baddest bitch in the world. And then I realized when I was graduating soon, I was 17, I was like, I don't want to be this. I don't want to be this person. And it's crazy to say that I did meth for probably 4 months, and then I literally was to my girlfriend, I was like, let's not do this. What are we doing? And most people can't say that they just
horror
stop.
stories all the time, and you see the pictures of people.
Right.
What happens?
So I just decided, I don't even know really what the moment was, but I was like, I want to be somebody. I'm gonna be somebody in my life. So this is the first step, is getting rid of the drugs. I got a job. I mean, I already had a job, but I got a job where you had to take drug tests.
Yeah.
And so that was where I just really was like, all right, I'm done. I can't do this shit. It's not gonna make me who I want to be in my life. So I cut all that shit out.
Do you have people that reach out to you now and ask you about it and turn to you for inspiration?
There are some, but I realize I don't talk about it that much, but I'm hoping that doing more podcasts and stuff like that will give me the platform where people feel like they can ask me questions like that, because I'm super open. Like, I will talk about it all day long. I don't give a fuck. Like, some people will be like, oh my God, you tell people you did meth? I'm like, I don't do it now. Yeah. Like, yeah, I did it. I did a lot of shit. Like, I got arrested. I did a lot of shitty things.
Well, you're in a position where your platform is so big. Like, we were talking before we came on the air about, like, your Instagram is what, like 100,000, and so people turn to you for, I mean, they religiously watch your stories, and they use you as somebody in their life that they can look up to, and you have all this experience that can help a lot of people. So looking from the outside now, away from the 14-year-old that was involved in all this, like, what do you take away from that?
Like, what I grew up with.
Yeah, what do you take away out of that?
So,
because you said you wouldn't change anything. Like, you love it all.
Everything. I mean, this is just the tip of my life. Like, there are much worse things that happened to me growing up than doing drugs and living on my own when I was 14 and basically being the outcast of my family. Every single thing, every single hardship, every single terrible thing that's ever happened to me literally has made me this bitch today. Like, I love saying it that way because I am tough, and it's not because I had an easy life. I am very opinionated. I'm very much who I am, but I've been through hell, and because I've been through all that shit, I am the way that I am now. I'm very accepting. I'm very loving, but I'm also very, very harsh. I'm very down to the point. I'm a fucking bitch if I have to be too, because I've had to have my own back. So everything I've been through in my childhood, in my young adult life, has made me such a strong person today. So I'd never take any of it back. None of it.
Do you envision, like, back then, did you envision yourself being like where you are today?
Fuck no. I had no idea. I honestly was a lost girl. Like, I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I had no idea. I knew, but I will tell you this. I've always had this bit of me. I've always known that there's something about me that was different. And I knew that I was going to do something to change lives and to impact the world. I just had no fucking idea what it was going to be.
And now you're changing lives, like, every single day.
Right,
It's crazy.
And I love it. Like, it's amazing. And it's amazing that now when I look back as an adult and I saw that sad girl who went through all that shit and, like, all the things that I thought, like, why is this happening to me? Now I'm like, I wish I could go back and be like, honey, this is why. But, you know, all those people who are going through what I went through, I can say that now, like, hey, these are going to mold you. These are going to shape you. These are your building stones to getting you to the person that you're going to become. Yeah,
it's super cool. I mean, and I love the fact that you're so open because, like I mentioned, it's going to help a lot of people. And now that you have your own podcast, which we're going to talk about here today as well, and that people can tune in, get more info from you, and not have to, like, hit the play button on Instagram all the time, but they can actually, like, stream in their cars or whatever. 14 competitions. When did you decide, like, hey, I know my shit. Maybe I should go get, like, certified and start getting these certifications, and I can start try to help other women and people do what they want to do.
I never wanted to be a coach, like, ever. When I first started doing it, I was just like, I love this. I'm so passionate about competing. I love everything about being an athlete. But then after a while, I started realizing, like, I have family members, I have people that I love very much in my life who don't understand health and fitness. And the more I got to understanding it and learning about it and how simple it is, and then seeing all the fucking bullshit online, like, fucking waist trimmers and fit tees and shit. I'm not fucking kidding. Like, all that bullshit and people paying into it. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this new diet. There's this new diet. It's like, no, fuck that shit. So I decided I wanted to educate people and teach them the things I wish that I would have had when I started. I wasted a lot of money not having any idea what the fuck I was doing. And so my big passion was to help teach, educate, and help people to be able to be healthy and love themselves, because you don't want to go your whole life living in a body that you don't feel comfortable in, and hating yourself and not being able to be that sassy, sexy, bad bitch that you are. So yeah, that's been, like, my biggest motivation in getting this business going, was to just help other women, especially men too, but mostly women, to just fucking be empowered.
Were you scared the first time you brought on a client? Like, were you a little nervous?
No, I kind of knew what I was doing with the motivation side, but I was nervous about helping them, like, knowing how to help them and changing things, and knowing, like, learning their bodies and understanding, like, everyone's really different, and kind of realizing as I've grown as a business owner that everyone's going to need something different from you. And so they were all great. My first clients were, I'm so lucky. They were awesome. They worked hard. So
I asked Adam the same question, because I'm in the same boat. Like, I love helping people through what I have as a platform, but there are just some people that you try to help that unfortunately just doesn't work. But we take it personally, and at some point you kind of have to let that go. But do you remember the first time that you experienced failure as a coach, whether it be maybe just somebody had a weight loss goal and they just couldn't hit it, and you knew maybe they were cheating on their diet or whatever it might be? Did you take it personally?
So I used to take it personally, and now I always tell people when we do our consults or we talk on the phone, and they all hire me, I think, for this exact reason. I'm going to tell you exactly how the fuck it is. Like, this is what it is. This is what you're doing. Here's what I know you're doing wrong. And if you don't change it, you're done.
Right.
I'm not going to I'm investing in them, and they know it. Like, I'm giving you 120%. If you're going to give me 20 and I'm giving you 100, you're never going to see the results. And I used to be like, oh, what am I doing? And then I realized, shit, I'm doing everything I can, so it's going to be up to them. And I tell them that it's your plan.
Right.
It's going to work or it's not, and it's going to be up to you. Because everyone can have the same exact plan. Let's just be real. Everyone could be following very similar plan. One person can fucking blow it out of the water and have incredible results. Another person can just fall on their ass and have the shittiest, you know what, like no transformation whatsoever. And so I realized that that's the thing, is like, if they want it, they're going to work for it. If not, I gave them the tools. They just didn't use them. Are
you like the female version of CT Fletcher now? Is that what you're going to go for? Maybe not as extreme yet, but
maybe.
Because I mean, he's got some
I love him.
He's a boss.
He is a boss. He's
but now you're the
badass.
boss.
I mean, yeah, and I'm younger, and I think I'm a little bit more sexy than him.
Yeah,
Maybe.
CT has his day. He's a little older now. So failure obviously comes. One thing that I think is super interesting from the competitive standpoint is not necessarily, I mean, the failure on stage is never a failure, like from the outside, like placing second, third, fourth. Right. It's not a failure, but the ladies, the guys, they take it a little bit differently when they're that close.
Yeah.
How do you coach to that versus the physical aspect of it? Because the mental aspect, some people take it super hard, and it's hard to get over you're in first call outs, you get called in the middle, in the morning, and at night you finish in third.
Okay, so I have a really great, this is my new thing. Have no expectations, expect nothing, be grateful for everything. Go into it giving 100%, but don't have expectations to be winning. I tell people you are a winner, have the mindset of a winner, but don't go in there acting like if you didn't win, that someone wronged you, because it's a subjective sport. I say it over and over again, you don't know what they're looking for. Unfortunately, especially for bikini, it's really tough. You don't know if maybe they like my look better than your look, so that's why they pick me. Maybe you're a little too soft, maybe you're a little too hard for their taste. So I always tell people, go into it being happy with how you look. Walk off the stage no matter how you place, holding your head high. I did this shit, I looked how I wanted to look. You know what, better look next time.
But it's easy to say that.
But they will do it.
You've had them not do that.
I've had them not do it, and then I'd be like, what did I tell you? We went over this. This is how it is. I mean, no matter what, you don't want to lose. I don't like losing.
No, nobody does.
I don't walk off stage and be like, yeah, last place. But I do, I mean, no one does that. But I do get off stage and say, you know what, I'm happy. I worked my ass off. Let's go fucking have fun. Let's enjoy this. And then when we're done with this, back to the drawing board, we'll figure out what I need to change.
So you mentioned subjectivity of the bodybuilding sport, which is always sort of a controversial topic when it comes to bodybuilding, bikini, physique, figure, whatever. So you have the punts on the outside. Like Mark Lobeyer is I don't know if you know who he is. He's kind of he's a male. He owns NTS Nutrition. He's very popular in the fitness world, but he's been on record of calling bodybuilding shows a beauty pageant, and he's done them. He's done them himself. Because in a sport like basketball, there's an objective outcome, right? You have a winner and you have a loser. Versus bodybuilding, which is a sport for what you have to put into it, but at the end of the day, that day on stage, there are people who sit below you in a low dim light atmosphere that cast judgment on you.
Yeah,
it's a subjective outcome.
Oh, yeah.
So, is bodybuilding a sport? The competition?
I think it's a sport. I do absolutely think it's a sport. That's a good question. I wish I had time to think about that a little bit more.
It's always good because I mean, I sit back and think about it too, because I know how hard people like us work in the gym.
We work our asses off.
Right. So that's a sport in itself. I mean, you're not winning and losing, but you're working your ass off. And at the end of the day, you have somebody that tells you maybe you weren't good enough that day. Like, where do we classify bodybuilding? Like, there's elements of sport. Right. There's elements of pageantry. To an extent.
I think it could be a mixture of both in a lot of ways, because it for sure is a sport, and you can't take it away from the people who are athletes. We're athletes. We work our asses off to get on the stage. Our sport is competing against one another, and in a lot of ways it could also be looked at in some sense as being a beauty pageant, because it is subjective. You are being judged by people, and they're deciding your fate essentially by how pretty or how your body and your proportions are and how aesthetically pleasing you are.
Well, there's a posing part of it too, which is like 90% of it sometimes. Like, you can work your ass off and your posing routine can suck, and then that costs you the first place, which is crazy at times. There's more about bodybuilding that I want to get into. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and some more in-depth hard-hitting stuff. So we'll be right back after this.
So this is it. The new flavor is in production as we speak. We've been hyped about this for months and the time is finally here. So let's go check it out. In here. This is it. Galaxy Burst. This flavor has a burst of candy with a hint of tart, leaving your taste buds begging for more. It's fruity and creamy, yet sweet and tangy. After months of testing and formulation, this galactic flavor is sure to take over the galaxy. Now let's give it a try. So good.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, time to go.
Local brands, local approach.
No! It just kept going.
I want to talk about the greens blend.
Take us to the promised land, Wilkie. That fruit's so nice, they named it twice.
Ghost Amino is all the mango. Wow.
Thursday.
Takes a lot to say that something is fake. I gotta know where you're headed. Am I too upfront or am I just on time? Where is your head at?
All right, before the break, we were talking about bodybuilding, whether or not it's a sport between objectivity and subjectivity, but other things that are involved in the sport of bodybuilding is we both discussed that we think it's a sport, we feel it's a sport, but the use of drug use in the sport. And we've talked to others before about steroids and drug use within bodybuilding. Most recently, Matt Jansen, who was the trainer of Dallas McCarver, who everybody knows passed away, and his testosterone was really rough when that happened. But it's not just bodybuilding, it's football, baseball, basketball, etc. Like these drug use is prevalent. It's prevalent from somebody just walking on the street. But it's prevalent within the female side of bodybuilding as well. Both bikini, physique, and figure.
Yep.
Everybody uses it. I shouldn't say everybody uses it, but it's used more often, than people probably are led to believe. So your experience of going against people that you knew were on drugs, because you're drug free.
Right.
So what's your take on it?
So, well, initially when I first started, because I didn't actually know that women took it, it sounds really naive, but I didn't know that women did it until after I got my pro card.
Okay.
Because I was sitting with some
So you
people.
won your pro card naturally.
Right.
Okay.
And the girls that I actually won my pro card with were some people, I'm not going to say anything, were talking about what they were taking. And I was like, what the fuck is bar? They were just saying bar, and I was like, what's bar? And they were saying all these names, and I was like, they thought I was playing and I was being funny. I was like, bitches, I'm fucking serious. What the fuck is this shit? So my thing is, my mindset with it has always been, because like I told you, I'm really competitive. I believe that I'm good enough or better than some people to the point where I don't need to take that stuff.
Sure.
That I will work hard or work harder than anyone else in order to accomplish the goal without needing to take it. I also feel like my genetics, unfortunately for other people, help me a lot because I'm half Nigerian.
Okay.
So that helps. I mean, if you know anything about African genetics, it does help. But I also just naturally always had like a higher testosterone when I've gotten tested when I was younger or whatever. I don't really feel like it's something I'll ever need to take. I do know the benefits of taking it and how it can help you look drier. I've researched it, but just for my personal life choice, I don't believe in it. Do I think I could look better on stage if I took it? Probably.
I mean, anybody could.
Right.
I mean, if you utilize it the way they're supposed to be utilized.
Right. Yeah, I for sure, and it would make it a lot easier, I'm sure. But it's just morally something I've chosen to not do. Now, my big thing is people are like, oh, so then you're against it. No, I'm absolutely not against it. I don't think there's anything wrong with girls who take it if that's what they choose to do. They're educated on it. They understand the side effects if it's done incorrectly. There's nothing wrong with it if that's your choice. Some people have been like, oh, do you think it's cheating? Because you're going up against people and you're not taking it, so it's almost like they're cheating because they have a step ahead. To me, it's like, you know what? If I beat them, it's even more sweet for me to be like, they're all on shit.
It just means you worked harder.
Right.
Right. I mean,
and I just genetically might even have a better disadvantage as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people will, like for me, since we talk about this, I always get a finger point at me and say, you're this big because of steroids. You know? I wasn't on steroids until August when I was put on TRT from the doctor because I was fucking dead. But before that, I was big. But like, for me, for the longest time, when people accused me of taking steroids, I was like, that's a huge compliment. Thank you very much. So when people accuse you get offended.
Well, I used to get offended, but I've also learned that no matter what I say, people are going to decide what they want.
Right, exactly.
Even like I told you, Andrew was like, I always thought you were on it until I lived with you a day in and day out and saw that you didn't take it. Yeah. I used to get offended though because I felt like I worked so hard, and that saying that I take that takes away from my hard work. But I also know that no matter what, even if you do do take it, you still have to look hard.
Yeah.
Like even if someone's like, oh, they take steroids. Okay, well, if you took steroids, you still probably wouldn't look like that.
Right.
So it's now to me, I don't really give a shit. Say I take it, say I don't care. I work my ass off the same way someone who takes steroids works their ass off.
Well, I mean, like you mentioned, you can pin yourself and sit on the couch and not look good.
Right.
You got to still put the work in.
You get huge.
Exactly. Always got to get huge. Females go through a really tough diet compared to the male side. Like, your body is not meant to get lower than a certain percentage of body, right? And as a female, when you get below that, like, I'm not gonna say it's dangerous, but it's not your body. It's not healthy.
No, it's for sure not healthy.
And some females don't bounce back perfectly from that. Where then at some point it forces them, if they're competing time and time again, where they actually have to go on a hormone replacement.
Right.
therapy.
Yep.
I mean, you obviously are good.
I'm so lucky. I've never had any, like, there's no way I'd knock on it. I've never had any issues with my hormones. I had maybe one bad reverse diet, but that was when I just didn't care.
Sure.
But I have seen a lot of people struggle with post-show and like hormonal imbalances and having to take drugs to get hormones to even get pregnant. So I haven't had a personal experience with it, but I've seen a lot of my friends and like people who compete with me struggle.
Do they turn to you for advice? You know, you haven't personally been through it, but like support, motivation, something that you can, and if they do, like, what are you able to provide?
I mean, I try to provide like motivation and kind of being like, hey, you know, you'll get through it. Talk to a doctor or a professional or someone who can help you. And also sometimes I want them to reflect on who they worked with and maybe what could have been better or done differently. And also being smarter in the future. Like, you know, it's not healthy to be 9% body fat for a year. Like, you know, like, come on, you know. So if you go through all that, then you're suffering from hormonal imbalance, and then you're like, I'm gonna compete again, I'm balanced. Then you also have to be like, okay, but now I know if I do all these things, this is what's gonna happen to me.
So how do you approach with your clients nutrition? Because it's super important.
Huge.
Right? And then to get them to that body fat percentage, and once they get there, to maintain that in a healthy
They want
way.
to stay.
Yeah, they want to stay.
They're like, okay, how do I stay here? I'm like, well, the whole time I tell them, you will never stay there. You will not maintain that. You will gain weight post-show. And usually they're like, I don't want to gain weight. And I'm like, well, I don't care what you want. This is what's going to happen. So my big thing is, I always tell them, if you're going to slowly take things out and bring yourself down to this size, you have to slowly bring that stuff back up. You have to slowly bring those foods back in. You can't just go from eating really clean to going and like eating Jimmy John's or whatever crazy food that you want. So that's kind of my take on it, where you have to be okay with gaining weight. And that's why I always tell people, love yourself throughout the whole process, because you're going to be, as girls say, fluffy, and you're going to be lean. And I don't know why they say fluffy, I've never really said that, but you're going to have to love yourself and just accept your body always.
Social media is helpful, but it's also damaging to these ladies and to men as well, especially.
Man, this shit really pisses me off. I see girls, this shit is not real, first of all. When you see girls that are posting post-show, 3 months post-show, looking like they're on stage, it's because the bitches are reposting their pictures. They go do photo shoots weeks out before their show, and then all they do is just repost them. And then the pictures that they do post that are them now are their booty.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, my booty, but let me make sure I have my angle so you can't see that I literally have no abs. That shit pisses me off because it makes girls think like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I gained 25 pounds post-show. I don't look how I did before. Because you shouldn't fucking look how you did before, because it's not healthy. Which is why I am always like, this is me. Big, little, I will always show it because it is what it is.
Well, that brings up an interesting point, because we had Ashley going around and we talked about Instagram and pictures being posted. And she said, you know, I'll admit, like, I have pictures that were posted when I was younger and I'm not proud of them.
Yeah.
And so we talked about the female side of things. I'm posting some of these booty pictures and some photos in which you can say what you want about them. Like, girls have every right to feel beautiful and close with it.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Right.
Is there a line that should be drawn?
So my thing is, I believe that, oh man, because bikini competitors, the shit that I can't stand are like the heels in the gym with the literally underwear thong and you're about to lift. Like, I think there should be a separation between what I consider would be softcore porn and like being like, hey, this is my body. I work fucking hard. I'm in the gym hustling, but you're not ever. I've never seen anyone in the gym lifting in high heels and underwear.
Never.
So like, I do think that it's important for people to also remember, like, okay, I might have my future husband. I mean, most of your husband should be accepting whatever. But my future baby children looking at these photos, do I want it to be an angle where it's literally like the come fuck me angle? Or do I want it to be like, hey, these are my glutes? I post my booty and I don't care. But I also know that I have my brothers watching it. I have my little niece eventually will be watching my stuff. And so I want to make sure that I'm someone who provides or shows my body in a way where I'm like, I'm proud of it, I love how I look, but I'm not doing the come fuck me shit. That's my thing.
A lot of people do both.
And it's okay. I mean, again, it's your choice, and I think people should do whatever the fuck they want. But me personally, I think that having respect for your body and not putting it out there in a way where it's like literally like you're doing softcore pornography, unless that's what you want, you should be a little bit careful of the stuff you put on.
And then you get the DM requests probably like crazy. I gotta imagine that your shit blows up.
I mean, I put people on blast a lot, so I think people are afraid to send me DMs.
Yeah.
I've done that on purpose.
I mean, I've seen some of the stuff that you ladies get from dudes that they repost, and it's just like pathetic.
Oh, I repost all of it. Yeah.
It's like fucking pathetic. It's
Oh, yeah.
How does anybody think that's a good idea?
Here's the thing I don't like is when people are like, oh, you shouldn't post that because you're gonna get thirsty DMs. No. I shouldn't have to monitor what I'm saying or maybe make myself lesser because of how a man is gonna interpret what I'm saying. Men need to change how they respond and treat and talk to women.
Even women. I'm sure you've probably gotten women DMs before.
Like sex?
Yeah, you got to.
Right? I mean, yeah, but I usually am like, oh, I take it as a compliment.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
But I'm not.
They're not the same caliber.
Yeah.
Like if their girls aren't like,
we're pretty vulgar.
Yeah. Come sit on it.
Yeah, exactly. Which is definitely not right.
No.
So like, this brings it up. It's like, okay, some of these pictures that you see, you're getting likes for. Some people say you get likes for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Versus posting content that's engaging, that's educational.
Mm-hmm.
So you do a good job of trying to post both.
Right.
Like, how do you balance between like, here's how I look today, I look gorgeous, versus like, here's what I did for Muay Thai this morning, and here's how it can benefit you for your cardio and whatever. Like, do you have a balance in how you try to do it?
I like to post whatever I feel like, but I don't feel like I post a lot. Like, you have to scroll really to see booty pics. I try to do like transformation booty pics more than anything. My story, I might be a little bit more about showing my body off, but I also really have come into a place with myself where I'm really confident in my body and like I'm not shy, I'm not nervous at what people are going to say or think about me. So I've just kind of come to a place where I just post however I feel.
Yeah. I think it's great though because I think bodybuilding or fitness in general, it does more for somebody's confidence than anything. Like you're able to walk in the room, command the room, all eyes on you, which if you can do that appropriately and you can make it work for you, like you made a business out of it,
right?
Which is fucking awesome. I made a business out of it, which I love. The choice to dive in 110%, leave corporate America, that come parallel with the website.
So a lot of things added up to that moment where I finally left. There was a new manager that came in, and they were changing things, and I was like, this doesn't fit with what I want. I actually was working from home a couple days, so I was driving almost an hour to work. And so there was just a lot of things that lined up, and we were like, all right, you know what? This is kind of the time. The time is now to just take this leap. And if it doesn't work out, I have a lot of experience. I had a lot of other job opportunities that were great, but I also always been the kind of person to take direction well. Like I don't like being told what to do. So it kind of made sense for us to be like, let's start our business. Let's just do this.
And it's been full time now for 4 years now? 3 years?
Yeah.
Everything you imagine?
It's been hard. So no. I think people underestimate the amount of work that you have to do.
Christ.
I'm working all the time. When I'm on my phone, people are like, you're always on your social media or whatever. I'm like, no, bitch, look, I'm working. Like, my job is from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. Like, I'm always doing something. I'm always thinking of creative content. I'm always thinking of ways I can help people. Writing a blog, doing a podcast, doing selective collaboration. There's always work to be done when you're owning your own business and a small business at that. Like, we finally started adding staff, so it's made my life a little bit less crazy. But it wasn't as easy as I envisioned.
How many online clients do you have?
Currently, we have 130 people in our app.
That's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah.
Currently.
That's a lot of fucking work.
It's a lot of work, but we have a really great team, and we do have a thing where we want to provide really, really great content and just overall experience for our people. So that's why we had to add more people. Because 130 people, do you think I could do that by myself? No, not a chance. No, not at all.
Well, how about in person?
I don't do it.
So with check-in, so all your competitors and stuff, you never have in-person stuff?
So I do posing sessions in person, but just the local people. I do FaceTime. So mostly, because this is what I love about online, I do FaceTime a lot. Like or Zoom calls where we're able to talk, and like I feel like it's more personal for people to be able to at least see me, even if it's not face-to-face. I prefer face-to-face if I could. I don't really have time for that. Yeah, it's really hard. But I know that sets us apart because I do a phone call before you start with me. We see each other, we talk, we get to know each other. They do another call midway through, they do another call at the end, and then it's just constant contact, and I think that's huge. Having communication is a big deal with online business.
You have clients from all of the states.
All over the world.
So like, where are some like crazy places that you have?
So there was a girl in Africa. There's a girl in Greece. Currently, I have a girl. I really can't remember where exactly. I think it's somewhere in the Caribbean. I had a girl in Asia. I actually have a couple. I get a lot of deployed people too.
Sure.
She's in Kuwait. I had one that was in Cuba. Something all over. I don't even remember. It's super cool. The only thing we have to adjust, obviously, is the time difference and stuff like that. But yeah,
that's what you said. You work from like the moment you get up to the moment you go to bed.
Yeah.
Which is a constant thing. Like, what's your goal? Like, what's the end goal?
To be able to change everyone, to change lives, to speak truth to people, to empower other people to take their lives over and be in control of what they want, to literally wake up every single day the way that I do. I want everyone. I mean, I'm not happy every motherfucking day, let's be real, I have shitty days, but I love my life right now. Like, I'm really happy. I wouldn't change any part of it. I'm constantly being better and growing, and I want other people to be able to do shit every day that they love. I know so many people who are like, I hate my job, I'm miserable, I hate my life. So that's why a lot of them don't go to the gym. That's why a lot of them don't take care of themselves. That's why they're weekend warriors, because they wait until Friday and then they're free. And I want to help people be able to, I'm not saying I'm going to be able to help everyone start their own business, but I want people to learn how to live a life that they could die tomorrow and be happy.
That's the goal.
Right.
Die happy.
Die happy, die feeling like they made a difference in the world.
Podcast. So you just did your first episode.
Yep, I sure did.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's the premise of the podcast? Like, what's the background?
So what is my...
Like, what's the why behind the podcast?
So the why behind the podcast is I've always wanted to be able to speak to people. I feel like I'm pretty good at talking. I think I'm pretty good at being someone you can listen to, and I like to be able to change people's mindsets and be able to help people see things in a light that they might not have been able to see before. The goal really is to have a platform, honestly, to just make people fucking feel powerful. I know I keep saying the same thing, but I want people to leave my podcast and be like, I can fucking do whatever it is, that whatever's separate in their life, you know, whether it's being a doctor, whether it's traveling, being a world traveler, whatever it is, I want people to leave and be like, I can fucking do this. Like, I can do whatever the fuck it is that I want to do in my life, and no one is going to stop me or hinder whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish in this life.
Right, and it's going to be available on iTunes, Spotify, all the platforms.
Yep.
So do you have a different topic every episode? Is that kind of like what you're going to go for? Okay, is it going to be weekly?
Yep.
You're killing it.
I'm excited. I already have it. You know, I already have like a whole schedule planned out. And then my second season, I already have plans for that. So it's mostly just going to be, I mean, manifesting the life that you want, and, you know, not having a quitter's mindset, and just things that I think, like the 10 kind of tips are what I want to start off with on how to be successful in your life and how to basically take over your world. Because we all have our own little worlds and our own little situations. So taking over that world that you live in and just making it fucking everything that you ever imagined it to be.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's left for you to do? Like, what's something that's a far-fetched goal that you still want to accomplish? Is competing done? Are you done competing, or are you still...
No, I still got shows. I mean, it's cool. I want to go to Olympia. We'll see. I don't know. It's still something I want to do.
Okay.
And then when I'm done with that sport, you know I have to find another one. And maybe I'll be the next Ronda Rousey and beat the shit out of people. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe. But as far as like me personally, my career goals with what we're doing with Okon, we want to create something that helps everyone grow. Not only our clients, but also people who want to coach, who want to change lives, who want to have that platform. We're creating an opportunity for people to join what we have, being coaches underneath our umbrella, but we're helping them to be able to eventually leave us and do it on their own. But really, for me personally, what would make me the happiest at the end of all this is being able to speak and have my own seminars, my own events where I can basically have women come and just empower them. Right. And maybe one day I'll write a book. I got a lot of people like, you should write a book.
That'd be cool.
So maybe.
And you kind of do speaking engagements, right? Like there's a women's fitness event here, like in Minneapolis.
Oh yeah, I did do that.
So I don't think that's far-fetched. I think that's what's right on the corner, especially podcast. All these different platforms, like you're leveraging every platform you can to build up your brand. But it's a good thing because the bigger your brand gets, the more people come.
Yep. And that's ultimately, that is my goal. a lot of people, I feel like they want money. Who the fuck doesn't love money? But I want to be the person who someone's like, I changed my life because of her. Because of what she said or what she went through or what she told me, my life is forever changed.
Sure. All right, we're going to end the podcast. And I kind of a tough question. Maybe it's not.
Okay.
But like, are you afraid of getting old?
No, God, no. I am so excited every year. I had a girlfriend cry when she turned, I forgot what age, 30.
Okay.
She turned 30 and she cried and I was like, man, we are growing, we are evolving, we are becoming better versions of ourselves. I would never want to be 20-year-old Angie again.
Could you go like that again?
No, okay. But what I do want is, I know that in another 10 years, if my life keeps going the way it is, I can't wait to be 40-year-old Angie. I can't wait to see what she can accomplish. I can't wait to see what kind of a maybe mother, wife, whatever that I become. No, I'm not afraid of being old. I embrace that. I look forward to it.
So little Angies is what we're looking for.
Oh yeah, we got little sassy Angies running around.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna be a mother someday, yes, but I really do look forward to getting old. Absolutely. I mean, I'm lucky I even made it this far. There's people who never made it to my age, and so I'm grateful for.
And now you directly are helping people live longer.
Yeah.
Through personal choices that you're helping change. So, guys, you guys can follow her. We'll have all the social media stuff on the webpage, fitnessinformer.com podcast. Check out her podcast. What's it called?
It's called Boss Tribe.
That's easy. Boss Tribe on every platform. Again, follow her on all the social media channels. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This weird shaking hands.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right, guys, that was my interview in person, live and in person, literally just last week here in Minneapolis, Minnesota with Angie Marie Okon. As you can tell, this girl's she's got her shit together. She knows what she wants to do. She knows what she wants to accomplish, and she knows what she doesn't want to do because she's experienced and been through so many different things. So I thoroughly enjoyed this interview with her. I thoroughly enjoyed talking with her. It's cool now that we're friends. I'm excited to see her path and her success as she grows her brand. And, you know, we're in the same area, so to have that connection is great because if there's anything I can do to help her out, awesome. I'm sure she would reciprocate that same gesture to me as well. We're going to be working on basically dialing up a bunch of cool interviews coming up here shortly. We're going to have Shane Smith and Mike Roberto from Price Plow and Stack to come back on the show to do kind of a state of the supplement industry podcast here soon. We have the Gorilla Chemist from Chemex going to be on here as well, talk about his new line, talk about his nerdiness because this dude is he's on another level of science. So again, I appreciate you all tuning into this podcast. I appreciate you powering through the dual audio system. We will probably have to do this again with Angie because I'm pretty sure people are going to request to have her back. We just kind of scratched the tip, you know, just a little bit here on the podcast. So again, if you like what you heard, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. Give us a review and rating to help out that algorithm to stay up to date with all things here. It'll push us up in the ranking system so more people can experience and discover the Be Informed, Live Fit podcast here from Fitness Informant. Make sure you follow us on all our social media channels. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. And if you are on YouTube watching this, make sure you subscribe on YouTube or go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe to stay up to date with all the things that we're doing here in the world of fitness and nutrition. So until next week, y'all, we hope you got some nuggets of information. You guys are educated, you're informed. Let's go hang loose.